What's up everyone, Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids, and today we're going to start a review for you. It's going to be a little bit different than how we normally do reviews because this is going to be a head-to-head. What we have are two different lights. We have the Thrunite Ti4 Compact, this is their relatively new pen light, and we also have the Streamlight Stylus Pro, and this is kind of a classic out there when it comes to an EDC kind of pen light size flashlight that a lot of people have used and carried. So I'm going to be going head-to-head with these two lights. And what I'm going to do to start off is just tell you what comes in the package, tell you some of the details on it, and then we'll actually get out and test it so you can make a decision about which one of these lights you're going to be maybe choosing as an EDC or as a backup light. I've actually been impressed with both these companies. I've liked them both, but I think there are going to be some pluses that you're going to see from the way the different companies approach building these lights. So let's look at them in the boxes, talk about some of the details, and then we'll show you what they look like in use. So here are the two packages. First thing you'll see is that Thrunites does come in a box. Streamlights does come in this clamshell packing. You know, for me, like, it is what it is. There's nothing fancy about either one of these. Sometimes you get packaging for companies, they just put a ton of money into some of their higher end stuff. That's not the case with these lights, just basic packaging. So at this point I'm like, they're even, nothing too super impressive. Let me move the Streamlight out of the way and we'll look at the Ti4 and we'll zoom in here, talk about some of the specs, and then roll in the Streamlight Stylus Pro. Your price for the Ti4 from Thrunite is going to be around probably $25, $27, and then the Stylus Pro, I'll talk about that in a minute, but it's going to be between probably $17 and $18 up to $25, $26, $27 depending on the version that you get. So we'll open this up here. You can see what's inside. You do get some very basic instructions. Nothing too fancy, but I will, let's see if I can get the glare off the, yeah, there you go, a little bit. I will tell you that sometimes I get instructions that are just garbage. These are actually worth reading. There is some information here that's actually a little bit helpful. And then you get the light. There's a look at that. You get this foam padding. You do get a couple extra O-rings in there, and then there's foam padding on the bottom of the box. I'm just going to peel that back if it'll come up. Let's see. Yeah. And then nothing else inside. So as far as what you get with it, you're going to get the O-rings and the instructions, and you know, nice packaging, pretty basic. And there's a quick look at the light. And then let's unbox or unpackage the Stylus Pro now. I had to back the camera up a little bit just because the package is much bigger than the Ti4. So, you know, nice design on the front, pretty basic. You do have some of the specs here in multiple languages. So it says on the front here, super bright white C4 LED, runtime 6.5 hours, momentary blink or constant on switching. It does come with your 2 AAA batteries, so that's nice. You get the batteries with the light. When you open it up, you can see that you do get this little holster with it, and you can attach that to looks like a standard size belt, so it's not going to run through. This is not going to fit like a rigger's belt or something like that, but your standard belt, it will work. You can see on the back here there is some information as far as your runtime. You know that it's going to be water resistant, 65 lumens. Take this out of the way here, and then you got your light and your batteries. So there's that. There's your light. And as I mentioned, your 2 batteries. Now let's zoom in on the 2 lights and start comparing them. Here's a look at the lights side by side. They are going to be pretty much the exact same length, so 5.3 inches from end to end, 0.6 across the widest part of the front of the light. And we'll just do a couple quick comparisons here. Take a look at the pocket clips. You can see a little bit different style, but very similar in size. Your end caps. This one, the Thrunite, is going to be smaller. Streamlight's going to be a little bit bigger. This one feels like it's metallic, and this one's definitely rubberized. And then on the other end here, you can see, and I'll do a zoom in here, but it looks like the Streamlight looks like it's a little bit wider, but it just looks like this has a little bit more more metal around the front there, as opposed to this one looks a little bit more exposed. Let me zoom in and show you what that looks like. So here's a look at the end of the 2 lights. We got this. This is the Thrunite. This is the Streamlight. And basically the main difference is that it looks like, I'm just looking down in here, looks like your actual LED is going to be a little bit closer to the front on the Thrunite as opposed to how it is set up on the Streamlight. So there's a look there inside, and I'll put the specs right up here on the screen so you can see what that actually, you know, what the details on the LEDs they're using are. Let me take a minute now and read you the company line. So what's what's officially coming out from their marketing people about these 2 lights. So for the Streamlight, they say lightweight and compact pen light for a variety of applications. Bright half watt 50,000 hour high flux LED with the new C4 technology. They They say that it has the micro optical system MOS, and it optimizes output and runtime up to 6.25 hours of regulated runtime and an output of 65 lumens, durable construction, and it works with 2 AAA batteries. Now when it comes to the Thrunite, here's what they say. Let's see. The LED is a Cree XP G2 LED with a lifespan of 20 plus years. The runtimes are going to be on Firefly, which is 0.3 lumens, that's 137 hours. Your low setting is 24 lumens, that's 12 hours. Your high setting is 252 lumens, that's 51 minutes. And then there's a strobe, which is 252 lumens, and that's 90 minutes. This is also going to work on 2 AAA batteries. It is IPX rated to be waterproof, so good down to about 2 meters. Your beam distance is going to be 67 meters. And the Streamlight, they say, is machined aluminum, and then Thrunite says it is aircraft grade aluminum body with premium Type 3 hard anodized anti-abrasive finish. So that's what you get from the official marketing side of both companies. And that's pretty much the rundown as far as the specs. And let's start using them and talk about them a little bit and show you what they look like when they're actually being functionally used in the dark. I'll throw in a couple of thoughts here right before we get out and actually show you what these look like in use. The first thing is that for some people, they don't want multiple settings. So they're not going to want something that has a bunch of different settings like the Thrunite. They just want something that's very simple. You turn it on and it gives you one output. Now, that's for someone who says, I want to turn it on, it's always going to be the same output, I know exactly what to expect. The nice thing about the Thrunite is that you have a extremely low setting, that Firefly setting, up to 252 lumens, and your price point's pretty much similar, and your the batteries you're using very similar. And so, for around the same amount of money, you're getting either 65 lumens or, from the Thrunite, 252 lumens. So that's a big difference, as far as what your actual output is. For me, when I'm thinking about these lights, I'm thinking about EDC lights, some light that I keep in a bag as a backup. But I like having the option. So when I take out a light, I like something that can go from very low setting to 252 lumens is a lot of output. I really have liked the my 511 ATAC, and that's got like 70 lumens or something like that. So it's pretty basic. But I like having something this size, that I can carry. But to have something very low all the way up to very high setting, for me, that's definitely going to be a plus. I also like the size of this. So you can see that this is kind of one size pretty much the whole way through. As I'm looking at it here, the head is a little bit wider than the body, but just a tiny bit. Whereas on the Streamlight, it is wide and then gets thin and then gets wide at the end again. So I run these in a shirt pocket, like on my sleeve sometimes, like in a short sleeve shirt from a cast gear that I have. And this one would be a little bit harder to get in and out of that slot that's built for flashlights, pens, pencils. Whereas this one, I think, would just function a little bit better. So there's some initial thoughts, but let's head out into the dark and test these things out. We're going to do another quick test here, and we're going to start with the Streamlight. So there it is, looking at a fence which is about 10 feet in front of me. And then we're going to put the Thrunite on its highest setting, just so you can see the difference. So there's your Streamlight over here, there's your Thrunite over here. So even your center beam is going to be broader. Obviously it's brighter because you have more lumens, but it's a bigger center beam over here in the Thrunite than compared to the Streamlight. Now we'll go down to some lower settings. That's the lowest setting on your Thrunite. You can't really even see it on the camera. Here's your second setting, and then there's your high setting as well. So definitely going to get a bigger center beam, and then also it's obviously going to be brighter compared to the Streamlight. So I'm outside now. I'm about 15 feet away from our minivan, and let me put the Streamlight on and shine it at the minivan so you can see what that looks like. It certainly lights up the whole thing pretty effectively. And actually when I shine it here right into the middle of that side door, I can see the front end and the back end totally fine. A little bit hard to pick up on camera, but the basically your ring is going to go from about there, to the front. So when I'm shining there, I can see the whole thing. Now I'll put on the Thrunite, and this is on the lowest setting. You can see some reflection, but not really the whole thing. There's your second setting, and now I can see pretty much the whole thing. And on your third setting, definitely very easy to see as a car comes and passes by. So you can see what that actually looks like. So now I got them both on. You can see the two. There's one Streamlight over here, Thrunite over here. Not much of a difference at 15 feet. Let's back it up a little bit. I'm back at about 50 feet now. I'll put on the Streamlight here. And once again, you can see the whole car pretty effectively. and that ring is now going pretty much, I would say, I mean, back at 50 feet, you're talking about, yeah, I would say probably 20 feet behind the car and 20 feet in front of the car. And now I'll turn that off and turn on the Thrunite. Again, lowest setting, you can't really see anything. Second setting, quite effective, and your third setting, quite effective as well. Now we'll compare the two beams. So you got your Thrunite over here, and then your Streamlight over here, and your Thrunite over there. Side by side, they don't look too different. All right, let's back up again. Back at about 70 feet now, and here's your Streamlight shining at the car. You can still see it quite effectively, and I would say, you know, if someone was anywhere within 15-20 feet of the car, front, back, right next to the car, I could definitely see them. Now we'll shine the Thrunite over there. Lowest setting, nothing. There's your second setting, and I would say, yeah, definitely not as hot as the Streamlight on the second setting, but on your third setting, yeah, I mean, you could see a lot and quite clearly. Beams side by side, again, can't tell a huge difference. Let's wrap up now and offer some final thoughts on the Streamlight Stylus Pro as compared to the Thrunite Ti4 pen light. First thing I'll say is that overall they both function well. There are no major fails, no major issues. So it may end up being a preference thing for you. That said, there are some differences that I think are worth noting. Your overall size, the ease of use, the pocket clip, all those things pretty much the same. The obvious thing is that with the Streamlight you're going to get one option. With the Thrunite you're going to get 1, 2, 3 options. And actually when I scroll through again, you're going to get the strobe option. Let me go through quickly here. There it is. You're going to get the strobe option. So you're basically getting 4 options with the Thrunite and 1 with the Streamlight. Now for some people, they don't want to have to scroll through things, so they're going to say, I just want the Streamlight, hit it, and it's going to go on and give me my 65 lumens and I'm good to go. For me, I like the idea of having, particularly the Firefly. I just find that's easy to use in settings where I don't want a lot of light. And then I like having from the Firefly all the way up to over 200 lumens at that highest setting. So I like to have that full range. Price point, you're going to pay a little bit more for the Ti4. Ti4, I always get the name mixed up in my head. The Ti4 as opposed to the Streamlight. It's not a huge difference, but you are going to pay, you know, $5, $6, $7 more. The Streamlight Stylus Pro you can get in black, you can get it in like red, there's silver, there's blue, a lot of different colors. This one is only going to come in the straight black. So again, that's one of those preference things you need to think through. One other thing that's worth mentioning is kind of the reputation of the company and also the warranties. So the warranties, I'm pretty skeptical unless it's a company that's well known for, you know, like we don't ask any questions, we'll take anything back. I'm pretty skeptical when I read the warranty to know exactly what it means. I think at the end of the day it comes down to, have you had interactions with the companies and what do they look like? I've worked with both Streamlight and Thrunite. The customer service has been quite good for both. Streamlight has a longer history, but Thrunite has been a company that's been on the market for a while now. Not as long as Streamlight, but for a while, and also in particular recently, you've probably seen a ton of reviews on Thrunite products, and I haven't heard a ton of people say, you know, here are the major issues and the major problems, and as I have personally interacted with both the companies, they have offered me good customer service. Now just to be fair, one thing to mention is that as someone who works on YouTube and does reviews and works with lots of different companies, I might not be getting the most kind of balanced perspective on customer service, because, you know, if they're thinking this person's going to put a video out on our product, they may be especially nice to me or work really well with me. So I want to admit I might not have the most fair perspective when it comes to their customer service. But that being said, both of them have been quite good. And in particular, Thrunite, as I've interacted with them, they've just had lots of feedback. Like when I email them, they get back to me almost immediately within 24 hours as far as, you know, questions or things that I've got, you know, I want clarification on, or other products I'm looking into. So they definitely get a thumbs up. Again, Streamlight's been good too, just not as fast in getting back to me. Overall, for me, if I'm looking for a pen-sized light, something in this size, you know, this general category that I want to use for EDC, but also, you know, I want to have something that's going to put out a good amount of light in case I don't have a bigger light with me. I'm really liking the Ti4 a lot. So, you know, I'm just carrying an EDC light for if I drop some behind a desk or whatever. But then if I'm out at night and I'm like, you know, I need a brighter light to do whatever, I like having something as bright as the Ti4. This past winter, I was I was driving down the road and there was a car accident in front of me. This lady rear-ended a truck, and so I got out and was kind of helping direct traffic around the around the accident until the police came, and all I had was my, I think it's a 69 or 70 lumen light from 511. It worked, but it would have been really nice to have something like this, 250 plus lumens, you know, to direct cars around my car and around the accident. It was night, it was cold, so it would have been nice to have something a little bit more oomph as opposed to just something with 60 or 70 lumens. So that's the type of situation I'm thinking about. You know, if I'm using an EDC pen light just for some basic tasks, then probably either one of these is going to work fine. But if I want one that's going to run kind of the full gamut from very low up to something high, that's why I would choose the Ti4 over the Streamlight Stylus Pro in general. Here's one final look at the two lights. Here's the Thrunite Ti4 on top and the Streamlight Stylus Pro on the bottom. That's my assessment overall. Let's hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Have you used either one of these lights? Have you used both the lights? What's your take? What are your thoughts? And let's get the discussion going. Thanks as always for checking out the videos. Please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids here on YouTube if you've not done so already. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check us out on Instagram and Tumblr as well. Take care.